the transcriptions of my calls that I just have
Right.
for my own personal keeping track of stuff have been invaluable.
Yeah, and I can see where, where you would want to look back through these and go, oh, I could have put a question here. I don't even know what you look at, but
Well, the
I can.
biggest thing I do is remember when I said I was like, oh, I said I was going to do a thing. And then 2 or 3, minutes later in the conversation, something's gone on, you've changed topics, and you completely forget that you talked about that. This thing has a transcript, and at the end, it makes a summary, and it's like, oh, here's all the things that are like action items.
So it'll
And
make its
that,
own transcript for you.
yeah.
Beautiful. That's
So
nice.
it's
You don't have to listen through the whole thing. You can just go down through your transcript and find it.
Yeah, it's one of these AI tools from Notion. I've gone down the AI rabbit hole a smidge because I'm trying to understand it, but I'm like very intentional about like maintaining the humanity and not losing ourselves in AI
Mm-hmm.
because it is a
Mm-hmm.
humongous problem
Mm-hmm.
and I see it
Mm-hmm.
happening everywhere.
So tell me more. What do you mean by it's a humongous problem? How are people losing their humanity? Because I haven't experienced a lot of it. There was this one chick I was listening to. She would ask it all kinds of profound questions, and then and then make that post that as her posts and or her content. And it was a lot of it was like spiritual things and metaphysical stuff, and it all come together. And I was, I could relate to a lot of what it was saying, but then I haven't, it hasn't come up lately. I haven't heard her for a while. So, but tell me what your experience is.
Yeah, so AI is one of the most powerful tools that's ever been developed. It's on par with the internet, but we are in the very early days. So if you remember what the beginning of the internet was like,
I mean, I can remember
just
being
like
in
culturally.
college and email became a big thing. Everybody was emailing each other, and that was the way to communicate was email everybody.
It's AI right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the internet is what AI is going to be in like 20 years. It's probably more powerful than the internet as like a thinking aid, learning tool. But
Mhm.
the problem with tools like this is they are double-edged swords. They can both sharpen and hone and refine your intelligence and intellect, or they can sap it, steal it, and poison it.
Yep, I totally agree. Yep.
And I think the
So it'll
vast
be
majority,
the user's intention. It will be. I mean, even if the intention is good, if you ask it the wrong question, it perceives that you want a certain answer. I don't know. I mean, it could color your thinking completely and lead you
right?
astray very easily.
Yes, and it sounds extremely convincing. This is the thing about AI. It sounds like it knows what it's talking about when it's full of shit. It's a really good lawyer. Will tell you what you want to hear. That's like almost its entire job is to tell you what you want to hear. If what you want to hear is your own thoughts parroted back at you, it'll
Right.
do that. If you want to go
Yeah.
down conspiracy rabbit holes, it'll do that.
Uh
If you
huh.
want to learn quantum physics, it'll do that.
Uh-huh.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I don't use it very often. I saw a post on one of my other communities the other night, and she posed these questions for you to copy and paste and then paste it into your AI chat, whatever it is. Chat GPT is what I used. And then something, Windows has Pilot, I guess it's
yeah,
called.
and there's Claude and there's Gemini. There's a bunch of them.
Oh, I don't know. All I know is that I said something about I Googled Chat GPT and Pilot came up, or I don't remember, or I just Googled AI. I think I don't remember. Anyway, so I used that first, and then I Googled Chat GPT, and then I used that, and I got two very similar answers, to whatever she was
Yeah,
asking.
and admittedly on a default GPT where you've gone in there, you just go in and you just ask her that question, it's going to give you a generic internet answer. Where those questions gain benefit is if you've been using AI for weeks and you've given it all this context about who you are and what you're doing and whatnot. Then you ask it these questions, then it can point to be like, oh, given what you know about me, what do you think are my weak points and whatnot? So, like with my AI, I have pages and pages and pages and pages of context that I've gone through because what I've started to do is I just talk to a voice transcription, send it to the AI. I have it ask questions of me, and then I answer the questions, and I just go back and forth doing that. And so that's how I use AI. I've stopped typing.
So I'm still like blown away. You're asking it questions to ask you. You're
Yes, and I
telling it
set it
questions.
up, with like a role. Like its main default role is you are a Socratic mentor. Your goal is to mentor me through questions and get me to understand things. That's your, and then it does that because I told it to do that.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And I did a whole bunch of stuff to set it up and like get it to do the things that I wanted to do. Like, I want you to ask me questions. I don't want you to tell me the answers. Like, I want you to, drive for understanding. I want you to only use my words, don't put in your own words. And like, here's what my style is like. And as I continue to work, I continue to add what my style is like. And every time I've tried to get it to write in my style, it doesn't work. So it can't do that. Every time I have to rewrite what it puts out. But it gives me a first draft, which is really handy, right? I don't have to make a first draft.
Right. I have a friend who wrote a book, a children's book, and he's writing another one. And he used AI. I don't know how he did it. I just know that he used AI, and I'm like, how's that writing a book? But you're saying that it'll give you a draft, and then you can edit it
Right.
and whatever
And
you want.
I've developed this writing assistant whose whole job is I'll come to it with an idea. Like, I'm thinking about resistance, or like I'm thinking about AI and authenticity. And it will then pull from me what I'm thinking, added context, and then it'll like drill down into details, steel man the opposition, make sure I understand what I'm talking about, ask like, clarifying questions and stuff. But I've designed it to be like, you're a writing assistant. You help me write. You don't write anything. You just ask me questions.
Okay. Okay. Wow. This is boggling my mind.
Yes. And this is level 1.
Yeah, sure.
There's like
Right.
a
This is
whole
supposed to be.
stratosphere of stuff.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. I mean, I see these commercials that say, yeah, what are you doing asking AI like it's Google? Don't ask it questions like it's Google. And then and I'm like, I just don't even go there. Like I said, that's the first time I ever used AI myself. That was last night or 2 nights ago, whenever it was. And I copied and pasted that question. And so what do you know about setting up web pages, websites, developing a web page? What do you know about it?
I know it's completely changed with the AI. I personally don't know how to do that, but I could do it today with AI because of Claude Code.
Claude Code.
So Claude is one of the models. It's actually my favorite model personally. It's the one I use. It's probably the main competitor to ChatGPT.
And do you buy it? Do you pay for it?
It's a subscription. Admittedly, I pay for a Notion AI subscription, so I get Notion premium features, and inside of it, it has a little AI assistant that is powered through Claude, and I just use that.
Okay.
But that's also a subscription that I pay. But that's the environment that I use AI in, as opposed to one of the traditional models, because this then lets it work inside my little digital workspace, and like it can like make pages, write stuff for me, and like make databases, update stuff. It can do controls inside of Notion, so I don't have to do any of that.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Right. So here, let me go one level up with the Claude Code thing. By just telling it what you want, this thing will be able to develop and in real time code a web page, to the point at which a lot of my coding and friends who I knew from college who got into coding and like computer science and stuff, they've stopped coding themselves and just use an AI assistant to code because it's better than them coding and more time efficient, and they get more code and better code made.
Oh my gosh.
So like coding and web development has fundamentally changed in the last couple of months with AI. It's insane.
Just in the last couple of months. Oh my god.
That's the other thing. AI updates daily. It's impossible to keep up. Nobody is keeping up.
Wow. And I just am just boggled. Like my mind's not even wrapping around it. I'm like, I don't even want to get near it.
It's understandable. It's crazy tech. And like, you don't need it. It's admittedly that everyone's like, everything needs to be AI.
No.
AI is going to spike and it's going to crash and then it's going to be here forever.
Right.
But we're still in the spike.
That's why I'm not worried about getting into it, because I mean, I'm already 63 years old. Maybe I'm not even maybe I'll never use it very much. You know what I mean? But maybe then again, maybe in a few years, it'll get to a point where it's so like much more common that we're all using it that I'll be comfortable, then I'll use it, whatever. But I'm not
probably get more user friendly as it goes on. It's still pretty techy and obscure.
Right. Right. I feel like one of the kids I work with, parents get anxious for their kids to learn how to use technology. And I'm like, no, they've got the rest of their life to figure that out, and they will figure that out.
Mhm.
What they need now is emotional maturity, emotional guidance. They need to learn about their emotions, their feelings, and how to express themselves, and how to have human relationships. The technical stuff, using whatever it is, whatever thing they want them to use,
It's so
that
easy
got the
nowadays.
rest of their life to figure that out, and
And
they will.
with AI, I saw this quote, it's an insane one. It's the first technology in history that can teach you how to use itself.
Yeah.
Like I've
Yeah.
literally just been asking my AI, like, hey, I don't understand this. Explain this to me. And then it does. And it's like, I don't understand that. Break it down slow. And like, even like, you can just keep asking it to get more and more basic and then like bring your understanding up. Like, and it has infinite patience. Like,
Yeah, right, right. That's a really good plus for sure. For
but
sure.
you're absolutely right that they need the human skills and that fundamental bedrock, and the technology is going to take care of itself.
Right. Absolutely. Learning to read and write, whatever
Yeah.
what higher level skills are, they're going to get
Or
that.
learning to learn these
Yeah.
like meta skills.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like those are being lost. Like, and just
Yeah.
like how to communicate and
Yeah.
just like how to human.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what but my families will ask me, what kind of toys should I buy? You know, his birthday's coming or Christmas is coming. What kind of toys would you recommend? I said, nothing that talks, nothing that makes noise, nothing that has buttons that makes noise. I want you to buy them dishes, baby dolls, things that they can have real life experiences doing. You know what I mean? Things that they would use in their everyday living skills that they can pretend to be doing, and then they will grow up and know how to do it. That's what I want you to do, is buy them puzzles, things that they can actually manipulate. None of this toys that make noise, none of them. Get rid of them.
Right.
They if your cow is already mooing, what need to move?
Right. Need no imagination. Yeah.
Right, you need to have things that stimulate the imagination, not that take it over.
Right.
So
Yeah. I'm actually running this. I do D&D games.
uh-huh.
And I find that's actually one of the best environments for all of that sort of stuff, actually.
For,
Because you have to have a group of people working together, communicating, problem solving, especially if they're at a table together and you've got like a little map and they can like manipulate things around and they're like strategizing. And it's like basically all of those skills wrapped up into one game.
so I never played it. My brother got into it a little bit when we were kids, and when I say kids, I think we were
Sure.
teenagers, or young adults. D&D, Dungeons and Dragons, is that what you're
Correct.
talking?
And
So
tabletop RPG role playing games in general. Yes.
but back when I was a kid, those were brand new.
Yes.
That's
D&D had just come out. It was,
like
yeah.
now there's all kinds of stuff. I know.
Yes.
Like that was the devil. That was devil stuff. That was we're
And I
going down.
remember that I heard about the panic and they're summoning Satan in their basement people.
That was satanic. Yeah, that was satanic when I was a kid. That was thought of, people have
Right.
said.
And it certainly had some like darker, edgy themes back in the day. And now every flavor of fantasy is represented in tabletop games, right? You have like fun superhero kind of stuff. You have like dark, gritty realism and everything in between. So it's not just and, it was never
Right.
just people playing games on it. But I understand it was kind of funny looking back on it, just see how much panic it made. And it's just like, it's just a bunch of nerds sitting around a table rolling dice. What are you afraid of?
Right. And that just makes me think of all the other little things. Like when heavy metal first came out, that was
Right.
all, anything new is satanic because
And
nobody,
edgy and different. And it's like,
yeah,
oh, it's like trying to,
it's upending our culture. And
yeah.
anyway, funny stuff.
Yeah.
So what happened with I let go of the trying to post stuff as often as I just
Yeah. I
felt.
like, I obviously didn't stick to it as long as I thought I was. It's one of those things you try and it didn't work, right?
Made you realize how hard it is.
Yeah, it's really
It
hard.
was
And it's
the
that,
original was 3 posts a week. That was freaking hard.
right? And it's like, is that even really, what's the point? Like, what are we trying to do? And is
Yeah,
this
kill
in
or
service of that goal?
drive ourselves insane,
Right.
stress
So,
out.
and I had
And
been
Chrissy,
reevaluating.
you have a job, right? I mean, you
Yeah.
don't just do this all day long. I mean, if it was
No.
all you did, if you were able to support yourself just doing school activity and generating your income, then that would make sense to me. You probably do maybe one a day, because but if you're working full time and you've got a family and you've got other things to do in life, I
Right.
would be stealing information from other people. I would go into another community and go, oh, that's pretty good. And take that, reward it a little bit, and use it.
Right. And there is something to that,
Yeah.
the just like
It's-
taking a format you like, remaking it yourself. But
yeah.
definitely to my end, like I am figuring out how to balance all the things. My current plan or current goal for the next 3 months is to really just track my time and manage it really effectively. And in doing so, I'm like, oh yeah, my day job, I have compressed it such that I only need to work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday because it's the government. And so long as the work gets done, they don't really care. And I've been teleworking all day today, and I've just been on calls for school. I even played a D&D game earlier today, and it's like, yeah, I was on call at work, but nothing happened. So
Good, good, good. And you know what? Me too. And so that's really interesting that you're having that same experience, because I sort of am doing that too. Not that, I mean, I have to go see kids in person and stuff. So I've been
Mhm.
doing that. But then I have to write these progress notes, which there's two progress notes. I blew one completely off. The little girl, she aged out, so it was her final progress note. I never did do it. Nobody's tracked me down nobody's bugged me to do it yet, and I haven't done it. A little I don't know how this happened, but some kids got the approval for their new paperwork and everything, and I never did write it. I'm going to. I'm in the process of writing it, but it's several weeks late. I've been blowing my real job off because I'm doing things I love. I've been playing my guitar, my piano, my trombone every single night, at least 15, 20 minutes each one. I'm
Right.
doing cool stuff. I'm doing stuff I want to do, and I've been
Yeah.
pop off. And
No,
I
but
don't
I get that.
and oh, I've got a progress note due. Another progress note was due this week. Wait, what's today? Oh no, it was due last week. I have got two progress notes they really need to get done this weekend. So I've got to buckle down and stop sleeping in and stop doing what I want to do and do what
Right.
has.
Sometimes we gotta, just take care of the two things and then we can just move on to what we want to do. That's my thing. Is like, how do I compress what I need to do and do it the minimum amount of time, get it done, and then do the shit I want to do?
And then that's the problem, that these progress notes, because I'm anal retentive, I'm a very type A personality. When I write down their goals, what they've been doing and what they can't do, what they can and what they can't do, the skills, I can't just leave stuff out for some reason. My brain won't do it. So I'm laboring over these stupid notes that, my colleagues that when I talk about these things to my colleagues, they're like, what are you talking about? They write down three things the kid can do. They write down three things the kid can't do, and they submit it. And I'm like, no,
So here's my
I,
question. Who looks at these?
they do look at them, but nobody, I know when they look at mine, they go, oh my God, this woman, she writes everything. I'm detailing their behavior because that's my ethic. That's my work ethic. The
Hmm.
whole truth needs to be known. You need to see the whole kid to understand this child, and and they don't, that no, and nobody cares. Like you said, nobody, they look at it for 5 minutes, then they talk to the parent and see what the parent thinks, and then they make their decisions, and poof, I don't know why my whole heart and soul goes into these stupid progress notes, and I need to
What,
learn. I need to let it go. I need to really let it go.
what are you trying to accomplish by putting all the detail into it?
It's that there's this voice of my college professor in my head saying how professional it needs to be, and that's
What?
bullshit.
Yeah. What is professional? Honestly, I'm like death to professionalism. Like, why?
I agree. And when I type an email, I hate it when, oh my God, when I look at it later and there's errors in it, it mortifies me. And then I was emailing with somebody yesterday because I tried to sign up for this webinar that I want to participate in next week, and it wouldn't take it anyway. I was editing these stupid little emails, and then when I would look at the ones that the person was sending me back, she never capitalized one thing. She barely put periods in, and I was going, it's all internalized inside of me, that this idea of what needs to be done the right way.
The
And
professional way. Yes.
yeah.
And it's
Screw
like,
it.
I work for the federal government of the United States in IT, and I wear a top hat to work, and no one gives a shit. They actually like it. Professionalism is a made up concept.
It is.
and it's dying, and it's been dying.
It is. It
And
is.
especially if you're not even in like a professional career, why even worry about it?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's so funny. This feels good to talk about this stuff because it makes me, maybe I'll be able to do it with one of these progress notes. I'll just be able to go, okay, he does this, this, and this, and he doesn't do this, this, and this. His age level is this, done.
So think about it this way. What can you put in there the most efficiently to help the parents most to make accurate decisions?
Well, I'll do that with them verbally, but I'll do that with them face to face. Or
Okay, so the writing is a formality then.
Yeah, the writing is a formality. It's just so for some cases, it depends on the case, of course, depends on the
Sure.
severity of the delay. If the kid has a severe delay and I can list 20 things he doesn't do and only 3 things he does do, that's what it is that I like to make sure that they understand where the child is functioning.
If some cases they're not very delayed, but they still need therapy, and I need to make it appear like they still need therapy, so I have to make sure that I'm really telling, or not necessarily telling the whole truth, but at least slanting it in the right way. So I have to be careful how I word things, which skills I say they have, which skills they don't have, things like that. But that's when it comes. If it's a case that's like the kid is doing really well and we could potentially lose our services, but the child still needs, just because he's doing certain skills, maybe he's not doing 100% of the time, those
Sure.
kinds of things. Anyway. Listen, I got to go because I got, like I said, piano, guitar, trombone,
Right.
those kinds of things to get done tonight.
Good stuff.
So, well, this was fun.
Good chatting with
All
you.
right, see you later. Be well.
You too.